Ladies and gentlemen.
You bet your sweet Beppy.
Good night, Mrs. Calabash.
Good night, Jet.
Good night, David.
Good evening.
Have I reached the party to whom I am speaking?
This is your life.
Two wild and crazy guys.
Okay, pal.
Never mind.
Here's Johnny. You look marvelous.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
The tubes are connected to the chassis. The chassis is connected to the picture tube. The picture tube is connected to the tuning dial. The tuning dial connected to the cabinet. And the name goes on.
I just remember that this round tube, and we watched the test pattern.
I remember getting the television. It was a 10-inch screen.
I remember growing up in a family that just had continuous activity. There was always something going on somewhere, even with or without the television business.
Every time I go to the Goodwill and I see one of those older TV sets, it just hits me.
My favorite memory actually is putting the tubes away on the shelf. There were hundreds and hundreds of tubes that had to be put in order.
The memories I do have that are really vivid in my memory is how kind my dad was to all his employees and the customers. Of course, always were. There just isn't anything like it today that you would have as far as customer service.
And before you knew it, neighbors would ask him about our TV and his picture, and he offered to well, let me come down, see if I can help you get a better picture, and kind of through friends of the neighborhood, church, he just started helping people get a better picture.
I think during the 1950s somewhere, about the time we become teenagers, we have to begin answering the phone.
Right.
Recommended TV, which was kind of awkward, I think, for us. And we couldn't stay on it very long because somebody might call through.
I can remember when it was always a super big deal when the picture tube went out on the televisions, because that was going to be real expensive. And I don't know if picture tubes really did blow up or not, and I don't know if he just told us that, because he would bring those back to our house. He would take them, because I'm not sure why, but he did. And I was under the impression, it would be like, don't get near that picture tube because it could blow up.
He hadn't remodeled the house for the business. Ruth and I both were in our dating times then, so we actually had a front door that our boyfriends got to knock on.
Right next to our house, it's built. So you walked in one door from the showroom upstairs and walked right into our living room.
Fun thing I remember is going on TV calls. It's funny to think that someone would come to your house and fix your TV set. Do they do that today? Do they?
He was good at it. He liked doing it, and he would spend hours behind the TV set. Now this was the day back in the day when TVs were fixed by finding the right tube, and
because there were lots of tubes in a TV set chassis.
Yeah.
And he had, which I think we all thought was pretty neat, a case that carried all of them.
It looked like a doctor's case.
Opened up like a doctor's case, and we thought that was really a cool thing.
I went on TV calls, I think, as early as maybe a little past 2 years old.
We thought it was a privilege to get to go on a TV call.
And we would walk in, and Dad would introduce us as his children.
Particularly Vicki, I think, went on quite a few TV calls. And it really was like a sociology class for children, because we went into so many different types of homes.
And then we knew that we just had to go over to the couch
and sit there patiently while he tried to figure the problem out.
So pretty much, I think every child at one point or another was driving with my dad on those house calls. And although Carol and I think, probably stayed home more and drove the technicians nuts in the basement.
Looking down the dark staircase to the basement, saying, what's going on down there? I was too little to really go down, but eventually Sally took me down and we saw what was happening. TV repair.
All the other sisters for sure went on deliveries as well, and they have their own stories. But I think the coolest part about that delivery for me was Carol and I would be in the back of the truck with the boxes and the test tubes and everything else. And there were no rules, so, it was really laid back. And some of my best quality times were spent with my family and my dad in that truck.
We'd go to people's houses and they would offer us candies and French fries and just all sorts of stuff that we might not have had that night at our house. So it was always fun to go on the sales calls and then fix the TV calls because people were always really nice to us.
My mother, who was a great helpmate to my dad, and she was not only she ran the family and all the kids, all the 9 kids, but she also took care of everybody at the TV store too.
I grew up in a really safe feeling environment, even though it was amongst TV sets, refrigerators, and men fixing TVs in our house.
Well, first of all, it was a pleasant ad. It wasn't like, I think they spent quite a bit of money to get that made. I think it was actually made in New York City.
The jingle appeared after so many years, and that, I'm not sure I could even begin this. It was a cute little jingle on the radio.
I remember when it was really, really being played the most, I think was on WIFE. During their golden heyday here in Indianapolis. And I mean, it was on the radio a lot.
If you've got your mind on a new TV or a stereo, you just got to come see and hear for yourself. Oh, yes, you do. At Recommended TV, Recommended TV. Oh, yes, you do.
It was very hard when they actually tore down the building because we were also attached to that. That was our home. And it just slowly evolved into the TV shop. It wasn't like we just moved one day. It was a slow development from the basement and then moving into the showroom and then developing it even more and progressing. It was very hard to see it come down. For all of us. It was definitely that big tower. I mean, everybody drove by and knew that big flashing light tower.
Our house is under the pumps at the Turkey Run gas station right now. I mean, if you go to the Turkey Run gas station and you're standing at the pumps, you're standing where our house was.
I'll tell you this, we had a lot of fun as a family there at Recommended TV, and that just absolutely went out into the community. And I still hear about it today from a lot of people. So great memories.
It was all pretty unique. Just living in that household was unique with 9 children. That made it unique right off the bat. And also it was unique because he did take us on the TV calls, and we were very much a part of the business.
Now I wish I'd stayed and run it myself. But I had to go buy the shoes. You should.